Today, we uncover the shocking truth about UK laundry detergents. Over 8,000 tons of plastic from laundry pods enters waterways every year. A preservative in these detergents triggered what dermatologists called an epidemic of allergic reactions, affecting up to 11% of patients tested at British clinics. Consumer reports document cases where people's skin looked scalded, lasting over a year, leaving permanent scars. The brands you've trusted for decades, the ones your mother used, the ones marketed as gentle enough for babies, they're all hiding something. While the European Union has banned 31 substances since Brexit, Britain hasn't adopted a single new chemical restriction. We've become the dumping ground for formulas that wouldn't pass scrutiny across the channel. The detergent industry is worth billions, built on a lie that artificial fragrance equals cleanliness, that whiter whites mean better washing, that fabric softener is somehow necessary. It isn't. Clean laundry has almost no smell. Those overpowering scents clinging to your clothes for days, that's not freshness. That's synthetic chemicals coating every fiber, absorbing through your skin with every movement. And to top it all off, manufacturers are being permitted to hide dozens of undisclosed chemicals from the label. They can be listed as one ingredient under words like parfum. They're not required to actually tell you what's in them. You're washing your family's clothes in chemicals nobody will list on the label. The two corporations that dominate British supermarket shelves, Procter & Gamble and Unilever, they've built empires on our trust while scoring 1 out of 20 on independent ethics ratings. So we've gone through the major brands currently sold in UK supermarkets, and we'll expose the 11 laundry detergent products you need to avoid. Then I'll tell you the handful which are actually still worth buying. But before we get into this, I need you to do something. What we're about to reveal threatens billion-pound industries that spend fortunes making sure you never question what's in that bottle. The only way this information reaches the people who need it, your neighbors still buying the same brands they've used for 40 years, your friends wondering why their baby's rash won't clear up, is if you help spread it. So hit that like button, but more importantly, hit the hype button. Every hype pushes this video to more people, gets it in front of someone who's been suffering from unexplained skin irritation for months without realizing their trusted detergent is the cause. You're not just liking a video, you're helping shift the balance of power back towards consumers who deserve to know what they're actually buying. And if you want to see more investigations like this, subscribe, because we're not stopping with laundry detergent. And let's get into it. Number 11. Persil, Britain's most trusted laundry brand for over 100 years. This is the foundation this empire is built on, a distinctively clean Persil smell, engineered in a laboratory and marketed so successfully that generations of British families associate it with proper cleaning. Persil launched in 1907 with simpler formulas. Over the decades, as the science of cost-cutting chemistry advanced, those formulas became increasingly complex. Modern Persil contains synthetic fragrances listed simply as parfum, optical brighteners that coat rather than clean, petrochemical surfactants that don't fully biodegrade, and liquid polymers that are essentially microplastics. In August 2022, a Persil television advert was banned by the Advertising Standards Authority for greenwashing. The advert showed children picking litter from beaches, whilst a voiceover claimed the product was kinder to the planet. When challenged, Persil couldn't provide any evidence to support this claim. Not a minor technicality, their own marketing was ruled false by regulators and taken down. The Competition and Markets Authority then formally investigated Persil's parent company, Unilever, over broader greenwashing concerns. Vague environmental claims, misleading recyclability statements, green imagery that exaggerated benefits they couldn't substantiate. This is the brand that spent a century positioning itself as the responsible choice for British families. Consumer reports going back decades note concerns about Persil's effect on fabric longevity. The aggressive cleaning agents, whilst effective at removing stains, reportedly break down fibers faster than gentler alternatives. Clothes wear out quicker, colors fade sooner, and that slight stiffness you sometimes feel in Persil washed garments, that's chemical residue that didn't rinse out. Unilever, Persil's owner, scores 1 out of 20 on Ethical Consumer magazine's ethics rating. They're responsible for enormous plastic pollution, they source palm oil from producers linked to rainforest destruction, and they still allow some brands to be tested on animals to access overseas markets. Every bottle of Persil funds this operation. The most trusted name in British laundry, built on a century of inherited loyalty, marketed with environmental claims that regulators found false, owned by a corporation with one of the worst ethical records in the industry. Number 10. Ariel, the gold standard of British laundry. The bright orange bottles, the stain challenge campaigns, the reputation for superior cleaning that Procter & Gamble has spent billions building. Behind it sits one of the most chemically aggressive formulas on supermarket shelves. Harsh industrial surfactants, synthetic polymers which are essentially liquid plastics, optical brighteners masking stains rather than removing them, and methylisothiazolinone, the same skin sensitizer we'll discuss repeatedly throughout this list. Consumer reports dating back to the 1970s note concerns about Ariel. At textile colleges in Britain during that era, students were specifically told that whilst Ariel achieved bright whites, testing showed it reportedly accelerated fabric degradation. The chemicals get whites white, but they're breaking down the cotton fibers whilst doing it. Your clothes look clean, but they're wearing out faster than they should. That slightly artificial crispness Ariel washed clothes sometimes carry, that's not cleanliness, that's residue, compounds that didn't rinse out sitting against your skin in the clothes you wear every day. The biological versions contain multiple enzymes designed to break down protein-based stains. These are powerful chemicals, and for people with sensitive skin, they don't always rinse away completely. The liquid versions add another layer of concern with synthetic polymers designed to prevent dirt redepositing during the wash cycle. These polymers don't biodegrade properly. Every wash cycle sends them straight into waterways where they accumulate. The aggressive surfactants are documented as toxic to aquatic life. Multiplied across millions of British households doing laundry every week, the accumulated environmental damage is substantial. Procter & Gamble, Ariel's owner, scores 1 out of 20 on Ethical Consumer magazine's ethics rating, the same rating as Unilever. Animal testing, offshore tax structures, environmental violations, the whole catalogue. You're not buying clean with Ariel, you're buying brand confidence built on decades of marketing and getting a chemical cocktail in return. Number 9. Fairy Non-Bio. The pastel packaging, the soft imagery, the promise of being gentle enough for your baby's skin. Millions of British parents trust this completely, which is exactly the problem. Non-bio simply means it doesn't contain biological enzymes. That's it. It still contains synthetic fragrances, optical brighteners, and chemical preservatives. The kind to skin label doesn't mean kind to your body. It means they tested whether it causes an immediate reaction, not what happens after months of daily exposure. Those preservatives include methylisothiazolinone and benzisothiazolinone, known skin sensitizers directly linked to allergic reactions and contact dermatitis. They're in a product specifically marketed for sensitive skin. The irony would be amusing if it wasn't so concerning. Parents switch to Fairy Non-Bio because their baby has a rash, thinking they're eliminating harsh chemicals when the product they've switched to contains documented irritants. Then there are the optical brighteners. They don't clean your clothes, they coat the fibers in synthetic compounds that accumulate with every single wash. The coating doesn't rinse out, it builds up layer upon layer, pressing directly against your baby's skin in those carefully washed vests and sleepers. Dermatologically tested and hypoallergenic, the marketing is immaculate, but these terms have no legal definition in the UK. Any product can claim them. There's no independent verification required, no standards that must be met. It's marketing language designed to create an impression of safety that the ingredient list contradicts. If even the sensitive option contains known skin sensitizers, imagine what's hiding in the brands that don't even pretend to care. Fairy Non-Bio is owned by Procter & Gamble, the same corporation behind Ariel, with the same 1 out of 20 ethics rating, the same history of prioritizing profit over consumer safety. Number 8. Comfort, the fabric softener that's been making British laundry soft since 1969. Here's what they don't advertise. Fabric softeners work by coating your clothes in a layer of chemical compounds that make fibers feel soft but reduce absorbency and trap other chemicals against the fabric. Comfort contains quaternary ammonium compounds, synthetic fragrances, and artificial colors that all end up sitting against your skin. Those quats are documented as toxic to aquatic life. They can trigger asthma and respiratory problems, and they build up in clothes over time, becoming harder to remove with each wash. You're essentially coating your clothes with chemicals and calling it freshness. You know how towels washed with fabric softener become progressively less absorbent until they're basically just pushing water around rather than absorbing it? Like you dry yourself and you're still damp afterwards, that's the chemical coating preventing the fibers from doing their job. That same coating is on every piece of clothing you wear, sitting directly against your skin all day, released into the air of every room you enter. For anyone with asthma or respiratory sensitivity, that chemical cloud doesn't stay on the clothes, it gets into the air of bedrooms overnight, it's breathed in for hours whilst you sleep. And here's what makes Comfort particularly problematic. It's marketed specifically for sensitive skin and baby clothes. The pure variant is positioned as hypoallergenic and gentle, but it still contains synthetic fragrances and quats. It's gentler than the standard version, but it's not gentle in any objective sense. Laboratory technicians who service washing machines at towel manufacturing companies specifically advise against using fabric softener because it damages the cotton. The chemicals that make fabrics feel soft are literally degrading the fibers. Comfort is owned by Unilever, the same corporation behind Persil, with the same 1 out of 20 ethics rating. You don't need fabric softener. It's a completely unnecessary product that's been marketed so successfully that people think laundry isn't properly done without it. Number 7. Lenor. Lenor is Procter & Gamble's fabric softener offering. Everything problematic about Comfort applies here. Quaternary ammonium compounds, synthetic fragrances that don't rinse out, chemicals building up in fibers with every wash, reduced absorbency in towels and bedding, respiratory irritants released into bedroom air whilst you sleep. Consumer reports specifically note Lenor causing cognitive function issues and proprioception problems in people sensitive to volatile organic compounds. The heavily perfumed variants marketed as long-lasting freshness are worse. That lasting freshness means the fragrance chemicals are engineered to resist rinsing, to stay bonded to fabric fibers for days or weeks. You're wearing those chemicals constantly, breathing them constantly, absorbing them through your skin constantly. Fabric softener isn't just unnecessary, it actively damages your washing machine. The waxy compounds clog pipes, coat drum seals, and create the perfect environment for mold growth. Many communal laundrettes specifically ban fabric softeners because they destroy the plumbing. If industrial laundry facilities won't use it because of the damage it causes, why are we putting it on clothes that sit against our skin? Number 6. Bold, the 2-in-1 detergent with built-in fabric softener marketed as convenient. The problem is, that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Bold combines detergent with fabric softener in a single formula, which means 2 separate layers of synthetic chemicals applied to your clothes. In one cycle, the fragrance concentration is higher than almost anything else on this list, because scent is the entire selling point. These aren't natural lavender or chamomile fragrances, they're chemical formulations engineered to bond to fabric fibers and resist rinse cycles. The fabric softener component then locks those fragrance chemicals in place with waxy compounds that prevent them washing away. That cloying, headache-inducing smell some people's clothes have, like they've been stored in a perfume factory. Like you can smell them from across the room, and it makes your nose itch. That's Bold doing exactly what it's designed to do, coating clothes in layers of synthetic fragrance that won't wash out. For anyone with asthma or respiratory sensitivity, that chemical cloud lingers in bedrooms overnight. It's released into the air of every room you enter. It's breathed in for hours whilst you sleep. Bold is gradually training users to associate that overpowering artificial scent with cleanliness. Actually, clean laundry has almost no scent. But Bold users have become so accustomed to overwhelming fragrance that unscented laundry smells wrong to them, smells dirty to them. The product has literally rewired how people perceive clean clothes. The Danish Consumer Council gave Procter & Gamble a C rating, the lowest possible score, for allergenic preservatives and suspected endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors interfere with your hormones, your thyroid, your reproductive system. The effects are subtle and cumulative, exactly the kind of damage you won't notice until it's too late. Number 5. Surf. Unilever's budget laundry brand with bright tropical scents. The bottles are colourful, the fragrances have fun names like Tropical Lily and Summer Breeze, and the price point makes it look like excellent value. The problem is that Surf is loaded with synthetic fragrances that the label simply lists as parfum. That one word hides dozens of undisclosed chemicals, including phthalates, synthetic musks, and potential hormone disruptors. Fragrance formulations are protected as trade secrets, so manufacturers aren't required to tell you what's actually in them. The surfactants are derived from petrochemicals rather than plant sources. Synthetic versions don't rinse out completely. They leave residues on your clothes that sit against your skin all day, absorbing through your pores whilst you wear them. That strong artificial smell that clings to clothes for days after washing, like someone sprayed them with cheap perfume, like the scent is so overpowering you can smell yourself coming, that's not cleanliness, that's synthetic fragrance chemicals coating every fibre of your clothing. Clean laundry shouldn't smell of anything, except perhaps a faint natural freshness. Here's what makes Surf particularly concerning. It's marketed specifically to families and people on budgets. The bright packaging appeals to parents washing endless loads of children's clothes. Those same children are wearing garments soaked in undisclosed fragrance chemicals. Consumer Reports document cases where people were rushed to hospital hours after wearing Surf-washed clothes, with severe allergic reactions covering their entire body. The rashes appeared within 10 hours of contact. Surf scores between 1 and 3.5 out of 20 on Ethical Consumer Magazine's ratings. Budget price doesn't mean budget chemicals, it means cutting costs on ingredients while spending heavily on marketing colourful bottles. Number 4. Daz. Daz has been in British homes since 1953, but in March 2024, Procter & Gamble sold Daz to a company called Blue Sun. When big corporations dump heritage brands, it's rarely a good sign. The formulas often get cheaper, the quality drops, and consumers are left with a recognizable name on a degraded product. Long-time Daz users report the formula has changed, that it causes itching now despite taking antihistamines, that something feels different. The brand your parents trusted was sold off like unwanted stock. That slogan, Daz washes whiter, has been repeated so many times it feels like established fact. But here's what's now actually behind those whiter whites. Optical brighteners, synthetic fluorescent compounds that coat every fibre of your clothing and reflect ultraviolet light. Your whites don't look whiter because they're cleaner, they look whiter because they're glowing under a chemical layer that never fully washes out. These compounds absorb into skin. For people prone to allergic reactions or sensitivity, that constant contact builds up wash after wash, layer after layer, pressing directly against your body every time you get dressed. Ariel pods and all laundry pods. The ultimate convenience product, pre-measured capsules you just throw in the drum. No measuring required, no spills. They're marketed as powerful cleaning with foolproof simplicity, and British households have embraced them massively, making pods one of the fastest growing laundry product categories. The problem is that pods take every concerning ingredient from liquid detergent and concentrate it into a small, highly packaged capsule. Each pod is encased in polyvinyl alcohol, a type of plastic. The packaging claims it dissolves completely, but studies show that over 8,000 tons of polyvinyl alcohol from washing machine pods enters the environment every year. It doesn't fully break down. It pollutes waterways with microplastics. Inside the pod is a concentrated mix of synthetic surfactants, artificial fragrances, optical brighteners, enzymes, polymers, and preservatives, all packed tightly into a small space. The chemical concentration is even higher than regular liquid detergent. When you use a pod, you're adding a pre-measured dose that's optimized for maximum profit, not optimal cleaning. Most loads need far less detergent than a pod contains, which means you're overdosing every wash, wasting product, wasting money, and putting more chemicals than necessary into your clothes and down the drain. Clothes washed with pods sometimes have residue on them, little bits of undissolved pod stuck to fabric, a filmy feeling, visible residue. That's the pod not dissolving completely, leaving concentrated chemicals directly on your clothes. Those chemicals sit against your skin until the next wash. Here's what makes pods particularly dangerous. They look like sweets. The colorful, squishy capsules are attractive to children. Consumer safety databases document cases of children biting into pods and ingesting the concentrated chemicals, causing burns to the mouth and throat, respiratory distress, and poisoning requiring immediate medical attention. Some cases involved children accessing defective packaging that split open near the zipper. Consumer reports document cases where people wore clothes washed with pods and their skin looked scalded. The reaction lasted over a year and left permanent scars. The product design is inherently problematic. Yet the convenience factor has made pods hugely profitable, so manufacturers keep pushing them despite the environmental damage and safety concerns. Number 2. Method. You know Method, you've probably bought it. The pretty bottles, the naturally derived promises, the premium price you paid thinking you were protecting your family from harsh chemicals. Court documents from a class action lawsuit revealed that despite plastering natural and non-toxic across their packaging, Method products contained methylisothiazolinone, the exact same preservative that caused what dermatologists called an epidemic of allergic reactions. Blistering, open sores, itching so severe sufferers compared it to poison ivy. Method's parent company, South Carolina Johnson, reportedly paid £2.25 million to settle the lawsuit. They admitted no wrongdoing, but they paid anyway. Here's the real betrayal. SC Johnson also owns Raid Bug Spray, Mr. Muscle, and Duck Toilet Cleaner. That's the company behind your eco-friendly laundry liquid, the one you paid premium prices for because you wanted something safe. You paid more money for the same problematic ingredient found in budget detergents costing half as much, but wrapped in prettier packaging with greener marketing. The bottles looked nice, the messaging felt right, and you trusted that premium price meant premium safety. It didn't. It meant premium marketing. This is the eco-fraud that encapsulates everything wrong with the industry. Take a conventional chemical formula, put it in an attractive bottle, plaster naturally derived and plant-based across the label, charge twice the price, and watch environmentally conscious consumers pay extra for a product that's barely different from the budget option they were trying to avoid. Method positioned itself as the ethical alternative, the brand for people who care about what goes on their family's clothes, and then used the exact same preservatives, causing widespread allergic reactions across Britain. That's not an oversight, that's calculated deception. Number 1. Ineos. The worst product on this list, the one that represents everything deceptive about modern greenwashing. Ineos laundry liquid appeared on supermarket shelves recently, marketed as powered by plants. Here's what they don't advertise. Ineos is a global petrochemical conglomerate involved in oil, gas, and fossil fuel development. Their Grangmouth facility in Scotland, Ineos's largest plant, emitted over 3.2 million tons of carbon dioxide in 2019 alone. The petrochemicals industry is highly carbon intensive and has been called a key blind spot in the global energy debate. This is the company marketing laundry detergent as plant-powered. The audacity is staggering. They're not a cleaning products company branching into other sectors, they're a fossil fuel giant launching a consumer product whilst obscuring who actually owns it. Visit the Ineos Laundry website and you'll find absolutely no mention of the parent company. They're actively hiding the connection, banking on consumers not researching who's really behind the plant-powered branding. Ethical Consumer magazine gave Ineos 0 out of 20. That's not the lowest rating, that's the absence of a rating, reserved for companies whose operations are so fundamentally problematic that scoring them on normal metrics doesn't capture it. Ineos is involved in new fossil fuel development. Whilst the planet burns, they operate facilities that emit millions of tons of carbon dioxide annually, and they're marketing detergent with plants on the label. This isn't greenwashing, this is industrial-scale deception. You're not buying plant-powered cleaning, you're buying a product from one of Britain's biggest climate polluters who've realised there's profit in pretending to care about the environment. Every bottle funds an operation that Client Earth's greenwashing files specifically calls out for its environmental impact. The product might clean your clothes, but it's built on a foundation of fossil fuel extraction and climate damage that no amount of plant imagery can wash away. Since Brexit, Britain Britain hasn't adopted a single new chemical restriction, whilst the European Union has banned 31 substances. We've become the dumping ground for formulas that wouldn't pass scrutiny elsewhere. The brands spending millions on advertising about being gentle and eco-friendly are the same ones facing regulatory investigations. The Advertising Standards Authority has banned adverts, the Competition and Markets Authority has investigated for greenwashing, and consumers are left washing their families' clothes in undisclosed chemical cocktails because manufacturers aren't required to tell you what's really in that bottle. But you don't have to keep using these products. There are genuinely safer options. First, BioD. This is a UK family business operating since 1988 with complete ingredient transparency. No petrochemicals, no sodium lauryl sulfate, no synthetic fragrances, no methylisothiazolinone, no enzymes, no optical brighteners. What matters most is BioD holds Allergy UK's allergy-friendly accreditation. That's not a marketing claim, it's independent scientific testing verified by consultant dermatologists. They're also Leaping Bunny certified, Vegan Society approved, and B Corp certified. A 5-litre refill costs around £23, working out to roughly 18p per wash, actually cheaper than Ariel and genuinely safe. Second, Aldi or Lidl washing powder. The own brand powders from discount stores consistently perform well in independent testing. Which magazine regularly finds that Aldi and Lidl powders match or exceed premium brands for cleaning effectiveness at a fraction of the cost. Multiple consumers in online discussions report excellent results using very small amounts around a teaspoon per load, rather than the excessive doses recommended on branded products. The powder format is also better for your washing machine than liquids, which settle around the heating element and cause early failure. Budget doesn't have to mean chemical soup. Third, white vinegar as a fabric softener replacement. You don't need fabric softener at all, ever. It's a completely unnecessary product that damages your washing machine, coats your clothes in chemicals, and reduces fabric absorbency. White vinegar in the softener drawer does everything fabric softener claims to do without any of the problems. A couple of tablespoons per wash and your towels come out soft without smelling of anything. The vinegar rinses out completely. It actually helps clean your washing machine by preventing limescale and mold buildup. And it costs almost nothing. A bottle of white vinegar from Aldi costs less than £2 and lasts for months. People who've switched report their towels are softer than they ever were with fabric softener, and unexplained skin irritation often clears up within weeks. Fourth, Smol. Smol is a UK subscription service that delivers laundry capsules through your letterbox, made with plant-based ingredients, no optical brighteners, no synthetic fragrances, and minimal cardboard packaging. What sets Smol apart is radical transparency. They list every ingredient on their website with explanations. The non-biosensitive formula contains plant-based surfactants, plant-based enzymes, natural minerals, and essential oils for fragrance. Some consumers have raised questions about Smol's greenwashing claims, suggesting their plant-based credentials aren't quite as comprehensive as the marketing implies, but they're significantly better than mainstream alternatives. Fifth, soda crystals and bicarbonate of soda. For the absolute budget-conscious, soda crystals and bicarbonate of soda are legitimate alternatives. Soda crystals are washing soda, sodium carbonate, excellent for general laundry. Use about 2 tablespoons per wash, they soften water, cut through grease, and don't leave residue. Bicarbonate of soda works as a gentle cleaner and deodorizer. You can use either alone for lightly soiled clothes, or combine them with a small amount of any detergent to boost cleaning power whilst using less product. Both are available in every supermarket for under £2 per bag, and a bag lasts months. This isn't a modern eco-trend, it's how laundry was done before the detergent industry convinced everyone they needed specialized products for everything. The detergent industry has spent decades training British consumers to equate strong artificial scents with effective cleaning, to believe that whiter whites mean better washing, to think fabric softener is necessary, and to trust that non-bio means safe. None of it's true. Clean laundry has almost no smell. Real clean fabric feels soft because there's nothing on it except the fibers. And sensitivity marketed products contain the same irritants as standard versions, just with gentler branding. You've been lied to by brands your family trusted for generations, charged premium prices for chemical cocktails, wrapped in environmental claims that regulators have literally banned for being false. but now you know what they're hiding. If you found this useful, hit that like button, and especially hit the hype button because every hype helps push this past the algorithm and gets it in front of someone else who needs to see it. Someone still trusting brands that are lying to them. Leave a comment telling me what food or product we should investigate next, because this is just the start. Until next time, read those labels, question those claims, and protect your plate.